Hey, how's it going? This is Coach Ruben with 24/7 Podcast. We're here with Coach Dave from Team Impact. We're about to sit down and really get into the true meaning of what Team Impact is, the impact that their organization has been having on the whole 7-on-7 culture in Arizona. So thank you for coming, Dave. How's everything been going so far?
Oh, man, first of all, I didn't know when Jason set this up that this was with you. So I'm going to start by saying I think you do an amazing job. I think Team 24 is one of the best out there. I love how you do it. I think you guys do it with class. And, for us, like we just started really with the older kids. We always look to the other orgs to see like where, who we want to emulate. And I think you guys do it right. So I'm really honored to be here, and I thank you for that, man.
I appreciate it, man. So I seen you guys on Twitter, on Facebook, different things like that. And I always like Team Impact, like where they come from, because when we first started, I think, outside of, they had a team called Those Guys back about 15 years ago. So when Team 24 first started, that was the only 7-on-7 organization. So then you start seeing all these kind of fly-by-night organizations that come in and, they're an organization this year, 2-3 years later, they're not. But Team Impact came on so strong, and I was like, where did Team Impact come from? So can you kind of tell me about where the name came from, what made you kind of start it up, like
Sure.
the development of it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was 23 years sports marketing professional and wanted to change my career. Team Impact Coaching Foundation is my full-time job. This is my business. This is my career. This is my livelihood. It started 8 years ago. My mother was an autistic school teacher for 35 years. She made a major impact on the world. I wanted to make an impact on the world. I'm not as gifted as her. The one thing I am good at is teaching football. So at the time, I was just a dad coaching kids flag football. My own son was going through the system. He was 5 years old, the typical story. And I felt that I was really connecting well with these kids. And I was using football as a mechanism to teach kids like life values. So that what I had noticing was a lot of the families and kids that were coming out of our programs, just our rec teams, this is like 2010, 2011, they were coming out better people. Like, wins and losses, great, but they were coming out better people. And that meant a lot to me. It made me feel like it validated, gave me confidence in what I was doing. So over the years, I've gradually left my professional marketing and brand marketing career. And I had a really nice sports marketing career. I signed Kevin Durant to his first deal, Chris Paul to his first deal. But my passion was with the kids, and it was with football. So over the years, Team Impact really started off with summer camps. And we would do these summer camps, football. We'd invite anybody. We'd have a lot of kids, 5 to about 12 years old, and they'd come from across the valley. And I was always floored how far these families would drive to be part of an organized camp. And I put a couple rules in place. No dad coaches. I was going to pay every coach and trainer that ever did anything for me. So from the start, I always ran it like an organization, an operation. I always kept myself separate from my own son. I always kept dad separate from. I always tried my best to run it the way that I think the parents wanted it run, so that it could be objective. I knew we were going to win at whatever we did, just because our process is so solid. Like, it's all about athletic foundation, athletic fundamentals, team. Our team spends so much time off the field, trying to make an impact in the community, helping with the homeless, just whatever. And I know you guys do the same thing. And that's, you know how that stuff works,
Right.
It just bonds you guys, So for us, it was always summer camps, training, personal training, group training, and then competitive flag football. So we kind of made our name in competitive flag football from 2015 to about 2018, which culminated with an NFL flag national championship, which is one of the biggest achievements you can have in that sport. There's another org that has been around much longer than us that kind of set the bar for us, which was Tucson Turf. And they actually originated out of flag as well. And we saw what they were doing in 7-on-7. And I got to admit, at first, I didn't think it was for us. The reason why is I wasn't sure that my style would resonate with high school athletes. I felt that I was better served as a youth coach. So at first I was really hesitant. So I just kind of helped push kids into other sevens programs. But ultimately, like a lot of pressure, the kids were like, oh, I want to wear that Impact. I was like, all right, cool. So I had to learn how to make cool uniforms, which I'm still learning, right? But like that, I guess that's the most important thing, right? But I was able to, find good coaches, maintain my approach, and we just started to bring in all these athletes. And last year, our first ever 7-on-7 open trial, we had over 100 athletes come out.
Wow.
We had, from the high school, we had 52 athletes from 31 high schools. And you know how this is. Like, it's not about ego, but it's you need validation and affirmation when you're trying to follow your vision.
Right.
So it's not about like ego, but it's like you just need once in a while to just know you're down the right path. So when you get that praise, like, it feels good. It feels like, okay, you're going out, and then you can adjust, right? If you're just getting beaten down all the time, you're doing something wrong, right?
Right.
So we were getting a lot of positive affirmation. Even teams we had that weren't winning, we were just getting so much, hey, this is exactly what we're looking for. My kid's developing. And then I started to track how these kids were doing when they went back to high school. And I was like, oh my God, these kids are like Brayton Silbor, who's probably the best 2022 quarterback in the state, at Chaparral, winning the 6A state title. Man, I've coached that kid since he was 9. I mean, when he played for me the first time, he played safety because we had 4 quarterbacks on that team. He didn't want to play. He was like, the kid who played above him was Hunter Cronengold. He's over at Sunrise Mountain. And then my son's starting over at Central. And Luke Huago is starting over at North. I mean, you got 4 varsity starting quarterbacks that played on our 10U flag team. Right? Like, so when you start seeing that shit, you start to validate that I must have done something right. Like.
So let me ask you this. So you said that you guys was originally developed in flag.
Yes, sir.
So what would you say the biggest difference from flag to 7-on-7?
Both are great sports. They're different sports.
Right.
The two major differences in how I sell people to go from flag to sevens, because I think kids, as soon as they can, should make that move. Okay. So once they're able. The first is you get to work on the wider field. The flag field is 30 yards wide. The tackle field, 7-on-7 field, is typically 52 yards wide, unless you're at a girly tournament. Sometimes it's 40 yards, right? But like, it's supposed to be 52 yards wide, right? I'm just messing with you. But and I think that's huge for the athletes, especially the shell players, to get used to that. Your corners, your safeties. It makes a huge difference in your footwork patterns, how you run your routes, quarterback's timing, quarterback's arm strength. The second sell on 7-on-7 is the physicality at the line. In flag, it's illegal to like really get your hands on somebody and press them and jam them. I think that physicality in sevens, when done right, is a good introduction for young kids into the fact that this is a physical sport. Okay. And I really love in sevens that when that ball's in the air, the refs are like, look, man, it's whoever wants it, right. So those are violent collisions, which again, I think that just gets kids used to, what they're about to get into. In flag, you're going to get called for that stuff. Right.
So I noticed this or not, I want to get your opinion on it. So we participated in a lot of 7-on-7 games. So you have a lot of teams that come out there and like, you know what? This is what we have to do to win. We're going to play man across the board. I mean, formations that they never would do in a high school game, but they know because their athletes are just bigger and better, that's the way to win.
Yeah.
Where do Team Impact draw the line? Do you guys say, okay, you know what? Even though this is not going to translate until Friday nights or Saturday nights, but we're going to do it to win? Or is this more about teaching them things that's going to actually translate to the field on Friday and Saturday nights?
So I'm going to tell you something flat out that might be controversial.
Okay.
We're expensive. We charge $750 to $900 for 3-month season. That includes your tournaments. Remember, these are all paid coaches and trainers. Right. I have to pay them. Right. I pay a coach $50 every time he comes out to run a practice. You do the math, right?
Right.
As a result, there are certain athletes I don't get. they're, those parents are looking for that are like, oh, my son's special. I ain't going to pay a dime for 7. Like, now we have a whole 501c scholarship program, but I make those parents prove to me that they deserve it.
Right.
So don't you be showing up with $200 Nike cleats asking for a handout, right? So a lot of times we get into game situations, we don't have the luxury to go man across the board. We don't have the luxury to throw a 50-50 ball. We are, in my opinion, one of the best schematically run offenses in 7-on-7. The way we run our concepts, it all translates to tackle. We always attack the outside shells. We very rarely will work the backside dig. We very rarely will have a quarterback, we'll give them a check down. Now, I'm not going to lie. If the score is close, you're trying to win, you're going to do that little handoff play. You're going to do I get all that. I'm not berating that. And when you win, you play more. So it's worth winning, right? But we never really have had that freedom. I've had great athletes, but usually it's like the quarterbacks, the slots. Our team makeup's actually a lot like your team makeup.
Right. It's
like hardworking kids coming from all over, but there's not a lot of that street ball. There's not that if your team's not on, you're gonna lose.
Right.
Like you can't go 1st and 10, 2nd and 10. Oh, 50-50 ball, we got it. Like that's not.
Yeah.
That doesn't fly with us. We have to get 5 to 7 yards on 1st down, 8 to 10 yards. That's how we have to run our game. Right. So for us, it's like.
Well, I don't agree with that. I think we played you guys one time, and you had a quarterback, and I'm like, I think score was 43-42, and by the time we scored, I take the team back. I look at my playbook. I look up. Oh, you got back on offense. They scored again. And I'm like, and
I texted Jason. I go, Jason, you just missed the best 7-on-7 game of the season. It was Gage Daly versus Dominic Bocci. And I don't think the two quarterbacks between them had more than 3 incomplete passes in the whole game. And when you all were driving to tie the game, I knew you were gonna go for 2. Because I knew I was like, why wouldn't you? You guys haven't missed a throw the whole day. So he makes the throw. And
it was funny, because at first I didn't know the quarterback. So I was going back and I was like, man, this is some bull. You guys got a quarterback. We don't even know who this guy is. He's picking you apart. I don't even know this kid's name. And then come to find out that you're a kid. And I was like, where the hell did this kid come from? Like 5'8". And I'm like, okay, well, shoot, Daly, my quarterback's about 5'8", so I can't be mad. Because at first I was like, man, who's this little small kid? And then I look at my quarterback, and he's the same size. Yeah. So it was really interesting.
We had was our OC was Marcus Nash. So he's, Marcus played with Peyton Manning in the mid-'90s, He's a very good friend of mine. He actually came and was our director of football operations 3 years ago and taught me a lot of stuff. I love the way he calls a game. And he has a great connection with my son. So that was part of it. But normally, like our offenses, like our freshmen, I remember our last Evans tournament, we scored our last 29 drives of the tournament. And our quarterback, Gage Baker, who's probably one of the top 24 quarterbacks out there. I mean, the kid doesn't miss a throw, right. But it's fun because it's like they're making real reads, It's like, hey, Gage, what defense are they in? Oh, they're in cover 3. Oh, they're cover 3. Where's your openings? Oh, we're going to go smash all day. We're going to go vertical out all day. Oh, they just switched to cover 4. What are you going So these guys are thinking this game through.
So now that last season has been over for a while, we're about to start a new one. So what's something that we can look forward to from Team Impact of 2022. So if you got a lot of people, been looking around, okay, what team I'm going to play for this year? Yeah. So if you have a kid that's looking to want to be a part of Team Impact, like what are some things that kid need to know or need to have to be able to put that Team Impact uniform on?
There's a couple things that I think make Impact a great sevens experience. First of all, when you come out to practice, we have everybody from the 7-8-year-old kids all the way to the high school varsity kids. Our high school varsity kids, they're coaching our younger kids. Like our 10U 7-on-7 offensive coordinator last year was Jackson Camerata, who was our slot receiver on our 7 varsity team. He took the team to the championship. My son coached the 9U team to the champion. They actually won the championship, right? So like there's that whole sense of family. When you're part of our program, you're part of a family. And that's important. Like it's an opportunity for you to role model good behavior. You're going to get coached by, non-dad coaches that are, paid coaches and trainers. We love to have fun, man. Like I wish we didn't taunt, but every once in a while we taunt, and I'll tell you this: every time we've taunted, we lost. I wish we did it twice to a team last year, same team twice, we lost both times. Yeah. So, but we have fun, I guess, is my point. But the thing you asked about, I'm excited about, honestly, the younger kids. So I've got an army of 8, 9, 10-year-old boys right now that are dominating the NFL flag scene. And I'm going to move them into 7s earlier than I have in the past. And we're going to roll. Like, we're going to roll. Like,
so is Team Impact just a local team? Do you guys travel out of state to play, or?
So for flag this year, we just came back from Boston. We won the NFL Open over there, and we went to San Diego. We finished 2nd, and we're going to Seattle in a couple of weeks. So for flag, we do. For 7s, we haven't found the tournament that we want to do yet. I feel like pylon is too expensive. I don't want to go to the parents and try to break up $1,000 across. But if I can find out-of-state 7s tournaments where it makes sense financially for the families, I think I'd like to take the team. I really wanted to this year. I thought our varsity would have done okay. We had a group that came in from Chandler High School that really elevated our play, and I thought we could have competed, but it's tough with the high school kids, as you know. It's like tough getting them to come to practice. It's tough. So I don't know. I think we're going to stay local. I hope we get enough to have a good high school team. I know we'll have a great freshman team. I know we'll have a great middle school team, 12U, 10U, and like I said, watch out for that 8U, 9U, man.
They have a couple good ones, man. I talked to Jason. Jason's over Red Zone, and he said that they have about 3 or 4 tournaments that they're going to do out of state. I think Las Vegas, Denver.
Yeah. We were going to last year because of COVID. Yeah. Right. So I actually had paid. Yeah. That's why I did that whole thing with you. I think we were, because you were going to do. Yeah. That actually got me excited, because then I was like, okay, now we're not paying.
We have 12 cities this year.
Oh, that'll be awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And I think like those high school kids, man, it's fun. Okay.
Yeah. So before I let you go, I have one big question, and I see this a lot on Twitter. I see it a lot on social media, and I want your opinion on it.
Sure.
I see a lot of coaches out there say 7-on-7 is not real football. So as marketing, as being a coach and things like that, what is your opinion? Do you think 7-on-7 is real football or not?
Yeah. I love this question. And I think my answer might shock you. Who cares? Because at the end of the day, it's a really fun damn game, and the kids love it. I mean, look, I love table tennis. I love tennis. Right. I love flag. I love tackle. It is not tackle. Right. It is not flag. It probably won't prepare you for tackle in a lot of ways. In some ways it will. But probably for the most, that's kind of an oversell when people say that, I think. It's a personal belief. But it is a hell of a fun game. It is a hell of a fun game. And to me, it's like, that's just pettiness. There's a lot of pettiness out there. I see it all the time on social media. That's just pettiness. Who cares? If I was a high school coach, I would be so happy that my kids are staying out of trouble in the off season, grinding and competing at a game that's relatively close to the skills that they're going to need. And if they were doing it in basketball, I'd be just as happy. But most of these kids, and you know this, they don't got nothing. Everybody's specialized, right? What's your average quarterback doing in the off season if he didn't have 7-on-7? Going to training 3 times a week, and then that's it. Like, where's the fun? It's like, right. He's got to have fun too, right?
Right.
you see these quarterbacks. Like I remember the first time I met your son, Jason. Like he just was always having so much fun out there, you know. And to me, it's like I don't even know. I feel like even high school football, like tackle these coaches, they make it stressful, you know. So it's like, let them have fun, man. Like I see no negative in it, unless if a kid gets hurt. But you know what? A kid could get hurt the first day of tackle practice, just slipping on a piece of grass, you know. So
I got you. So, man, I really appreciate it, man. So if anybody's interested in coming out for Team Impact program, 7-on-7s, tryouts for the new year, like how can they get information? Do you guys have social media, phone number? Like how can they get more information to sign up for Team Impact?
So your audience mostly going to be athletes. Athletes would probably want to go on Twitter. My Twitter is Team Impact Coach. My Instagram is Team Impact Coaching. They can just DM either one, and you know, I'll give them all the honest information of when we start. We're probably going to have like our first kickoff early December. We'll have, you know, some college guys out there, recruiting guys out there, just to kind of explain to them the process and what they're doing, and try to turn into like a bigger family, kind of some barbecue. And then the practices would start in January.
Okay. All right. I actually got one more question for you. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Sure. Yeah.
You can't say your son. Who has been, give me one athlete that's really been super impactful on Team Impact? First name that comes to your head.
I can't give you two.
Go ahead. Give me two.
All right. I have to start with Jackson Camerata. Jackson Camerata is one of the great student athletes I've ever met in my lifetime. He just graduated. He's going to Washington St. Louis University, which is a very difficult academic school to get into. He's a 5'8" kid. He worked his tail off, and he's playing football in college because of how hard he worked. He was always a leader. He always came to every practice, and he was my OC for my 10U, and he never complained. It didn't matter what kind of experiences, nothing ever gets that young man down. He is a shining light, and I'm so proud of him. So to me, he's definitely number one. Okay. Number 1A is Mr. Brayton Silber at Chaparral. What Brayton has done for Team Impact with his success on the field, also being a 4.0 student off the field, and just always being an unselfish player, always coming out to support other Impact players. At Chaparral, there's 27 athletes that play on freshman, JV, and varsity that came through Team Impact, and Brayton is like the dad to all of them. So, you know, again, these are young men. Their ability is great, but it's more than their ability. It's the impact they had around them, and when kids reciprocate to coaches will never forget those kids.
Agreed. Okay. Well, man, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You give here, Coach Dave, and definitely we'll be reaching back out. Hopefully, when it get closer to the season,
we got a scrimmage.
we got a scrimmage. You got to come talk about your new roster. Warn me out who you got coming. All right.
Yeah.
All right.